We're at SEC Media Days for another Q&A thanks to Friends of Cole. Cole's resilient, reliable, it's affordable. Shout out Friends of Cole, Kentucky.org. I'm Nick Ross, that's Adam Luck, and every year we hang out with our friend Connor O'Gara, OG Podcast. Okay, are you original gangster or is that O'Gara?
Yes.
Both. We got both. Confirmed, both. All right, we've had this conversation before, Mr. O'Gara. Neither of us like Shane Beamer.
Whoa.
I think I remember you specifically saying in Nashville that I'm Shane Beamer's #1 fan. He's the greatest coach ever. He's going to win so many games. But is this his last season?
I don't think it is, because this is when he's at his best.
I know.
He's been a yo-yo coach. He and Brent Venables are the two yo-yo coaches in the SEC. And he's been really, really good in these spots, both within a season and when it comes to like preseason expectations, when he's coming off a terrible year or a terrible game. There is something to be said for a guy that just likes being doubted and then feels like he's at his best when that's the case. Shane Beamer is that guy. So obviously, like, his long-term aspirations at South Carolina, like, he wants to be there, a very, very long time, of course, but you're not going to do that unless you can actually win when people expect you to win. It's still the thing that hangs over him. They're the most obvious progression candidate of anybody in college football. If you're talking about bounce-back teams, like, what they retained with their roster, they should be better. They shouldn't have been as bad as they were last year, but they were just bad. I am not the #1 fan in the You are definitely way lower on that list. Shane's been good to me. He's been good to me, man.
Okay. You mentioned, though, Venables is the other yo-yo. Does that mean the yo is going to yo the other way? Oklahoma, they brought a lot back from a playoff team. Are they going to yo back down?
This is the best team Brent Venables has had. The problem is that this schedule is brutal. They're going to do what Texas did last year. They're going to be 9-3. They're going to be on the outside looking in, going, wait a minute, we've got these wins against top 10 teams. I got them beating Georgia in Athens. I got them beating Texas in Red River. The problem is that if you lose that game against Michigan, you lose 2 games to teams from the state of Mississippi, it's really tough to sit there in early December, and even if Greg Sankey's banging the drum for you too, talking about how great your 9-3 is, it's really tough to sell that when people are like, well, then why'd you lose to Mississippi State? Texas, why'd you lose to Florida? That's kind of a tough thing to overcome when we haven't seen a 9-3 team break through. So to answer your question, I think they will yo back into non-playoff status. And if they're 11-1, I'm already on record saying this. If they're 11-1 this year, Brent Venables is the National Coach of the Year. Like, with that schedule, I kid you not, man, look at it. You think you're out of the woods with the way that it sets up after the first half because of like Michigan, Georgia, and Texas, all the way from home in the first half. You still have Ole Miss, you still have Texas A&M, and the later part of that schedule. It's absolutely brutal. I do think that this team is really, really good, but they will not be in the playoff.
You didn't mention Kentucky either.
Jason Witten changes everything.
Does he? Does Kevin Wilson change anything? Has he changed anything?
I don't know. That's a good question. What is just the Mateer thing's fascinating, like, because he got hurt, obviously. Like, I still don't have a good feel, I don't think, of, like,
I don't either.
Where he's going to be in the league, just if you were power ranking quarterbacks. Like, when you power rank quarterbacks on Thanksgiving Sunday, like, where does he fall? I don't know. 3, 11?
He's got the most variance. I had him at, I think I had him at 8th or 9th, because the turnover-worthy plays in the latter half of the season, it was awful. His feet are special. The problem is that when he does that jump throw crap, it's bad news bears. It's so ugly when he does that. And I think he'd be the first to tell you he got away with a whole lot more at Washington State than he did at Oklahoma.
Yeah, and both those teams are fascinating to me because, like, the yo-yo factor, like, you can't be yo-yo forever. Eventually you're either going to run off, you're going to run off consistent good results, or you're going to fall off and not be able to get it back. I mean, Mark Stoops was a perfect example of this. It was what, Nick? 7-7-9, 7-7-9.
Yep.
Then I think there was a 7, and then it fell off, just out of really kind of out of nowhere. So they're very interesting because both of those coaches have been there for a while now. Like, they've kind of been established now. So where do they fall? Oklahoma's fascinating because the defense just became just an absolute wrecking ball, and it's like, well, if they can just play a certain level of offense.
But that's the thing. Brent Venables, he's driven nuts by watching some of the mistakes that John Mateer makes. Like, he's got to just be pulling his hair out with some of the decisions that he's making in spots where you just can't have that. Even that Tennessee game, they were kind of lucky to win that game because of some of the things that Mateer did, but it was a huge win for Venables, and he wins a game in which his best defensive player, R. Mason Thomas, gets hurt in the middle of the game, and they still find a way to overcome it. But you're right. He's at Oklahoma, and he's entering year 5, and he has yet to have consecutive winning seasons. Mm-hmm. Buddy, if that's the conversation going into year 6, I mean, that is really, really tough to stomach.
All these teams have turned into Auburn.
Well, Auburn would love to have
and
a
Auburn
winning
would
season.
love to be Auburn again.
So I made this case, and I it made the rounds a little bit here. I said that Auburn was the dud of the decade in the 2020s. Mm-hmm. They have had the worst time of any college football team in the 2020s, not just because they're in the midst of their worst stretch since the Harry Truman administration, who could forget, but because of the fact that their 2 biggest rivals have won all the SEC championships. They've won half of the national championships as well. They've watched Bo Nix become the best version of himself at Oregon. They watched Cam Coleman up and leave and go to Texas. They watched their 5-star quarterback up and leave and go to Ole Miss. They're on their 4th coach of the 2020s, and people are like, I like Alex Golesh, but it's Auburn, so who knows? Auburn has endured the worst decade of anybody, and it's not even particularly close.
Who is the team that people aren't talking about here, but is going to be talked about a lot this season? Who's going to surprise folks?
Ole Miss. Ole Miss is being talked about through the LSU lens. And it was funny, like I just had Kewan Lacey in the at the podium there, and he was asked by Matt Moscona, like, what's your relationship like with Lane Kiffin? He said, he was my head coach last year. That's it. What was your relationship like with Charlie West Jr.? He was my head coach, or he was my offensive coordinator last year. There's no love lost. That's well documented. September 19th in Oxford is going to be a movie. I can't wait for it. But I think Ole Miss gets to an SEC championship this year. Nobody else is saying that. And nobody's saying that because their schedule is tough, and they want to point to the fact that they don't have Lane Kiffin anymore. And I get it. Not having Charlie Weiss Jr., that's significant. They're not asking Trinidad Shambles to come in and run a new offense. Like, he's the best quarterback returning in college football. And John David Baker is being asked to do, like, very similar things to what Charlie Weiss Jr. did. So I look at all those things, and I look at what this defense returned, and I think, well, wait a minute. They were 20 seconds from playing for a national championship. And maybe if a defensive pass interference gets called in that spot, or maybe if you add 10 seconds to the clock, Trinidad finds a way. So, like, I just think Ole Miss is being slept on, and I think that they are so much more than just a team that's trying to win the breakup. They're trying to win the freaking SEC this year, all right? And I don't think that having them, win 7.5 wins at what Vegas has, maybe Vegas knows and I'm an idiot, but they should be talked about more nationally.
Did you bring your jet ski to Tampa? There's some. Is that yours out there?
I'm letting them rent it. There's jet ski Airbnb.
Oh,
It's passive income from
It's
an OG kickoff.
Yeah. Just like with regular Airbnb, we have a massive cleaning fee. It's great. That's really where I get all the money that comes back to me. The cleaning fees are just ridiculous, man. They suck. No, I left my jet ski at home this time. Decided not to bring it to SEC Media Days. Thought about riding all the way here on it, like the guy from Tiger King.
Mm-hmm. But you're a Florida man, like certified Florida man. So like that's how you get around town to when you like go get your groceries, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I drop off my golf cart and then I go take my jet ski, and that's what we do. Central Florida. That's that we're known for our water in Central Florida. So yeah, that's what I do in Orlando.
All right, here's a rivalry return game that nobody's talking about. John Summerall returns to Kentucky.
Oh yeah.
With his defensive coordinator who's at Kentucky for a long time, with some players from Kentucky. Who wins that game?
You guys are gonna hate this.
No, but please, we want people to hear what at CG O'Gara has to say, so they will definitely not be in your mentions when they're mad at you.
I have Kentucky winning 3 games this year. That is not one of them. It's not. And here's the thing. Like Will Stein. Believe in Will Stein. When he answered your question the way that he did, I was like, I'm buying more stock. I think this guy long-term gets it, and you have to have that level of swagger to be able to succeed in that job. All in on that. I think year one's going to be really difficult because I have no idea what in the world to expect from them defensively. I do think that last year that game was very close. People forget how close it was. It was also close because Austin Simmons kind of sort of blew chunks in the first part of it. and it was not Trinidad Chambliss doing those things out there. So I think that probably needs to be factored into it. You're right, it is a rivalry renewed, I guess, that nobody's talking about. But no, I can't sit here and say that I have a lot of confidence in the year one Kentucky defense. When it comes to evaluating quarterbacks, I'm going to give Will Stein the benefit of the doubt with that until he tells me that he doesn't deserve the benefit of the doubt. But I think it's going to be really, really rough. And that's going to be the biggest adjustment for Kentucky fans is watching other teams come into their house and put up 40+.
Well, see, hey, here's the thing though. We need.
Let's just change the subject.
Well,
here.
but this is sometimes you need to hear an outside perspective because everybody's like Will Stein's checked every box, so everybody is high. Like you're drinking the Kool-Aid, you're ready to go. We're gonna have an outside perspective to know that hey, it's a first year head coach. He's probably going to mess up at some point. Things are going to happen poorly. It happens.
Probably. The game management too, like it can't be taken for granted. And I ranked him dead last among SEC head coaches just because I don't want to assume that you figured out the late game stuff. Last year I watched Jeff Lebby in some of these spots where, man, it was. I'm going to make sure he's not right behind me as I'm saying this. No, he's not even here today. Oh, we're good. But watching him blow some of these games, like the game against Texas, the game against Florida, you're just like, man, it can't be this rough.
Arizona State,
Well, they win that game, but they should have blown it.
Right.
They win that
Arkansas.
game because, the Arkansas game, they win that game barely because Arkansas didn't know how to win a close game. They only won the Arizona State game because, for whatever reason, Arizona State's defensive coordinator decides, we're going to have single coverage on Brennan Thompson, the fastest player in college football. See how that goes for you, buddy. 6. I do think that Jeff Lebby should be a reminder of why the transition from coordinator to head coach is not always seamless.
Yeah.
And I don't want to assume that Will Stein has those things figured out. There could be real growing pains with that. And you're not in that spot as a coordinator where you have to truly manage a game. So I want to see kind of what that looks like. I'm excited to see what Kenny Minchey looks like. I really think he's one of the more fascinating enigmas right now in all of college football. A portal flipper. That's a new thing that we're having to discuss in this day and age. So I just think that that's going to be something that we're probably talking about in November. And if he's checked that box as well, all right, y'all are in good shape.
Great shape, one might say. This is really going to inspire a lot of people to subscribe to the OG Kickoff, Connor. I know you know what you've done.
Here's the thing. Listeners of this show know I've had a soft spot for Kentucky for a while.
Yeah.
My brother lives in Lexington. My sister-in-law works at UK. I give Kentucky flowers whenever possible. I've had Will Stein on the show. I've had many a Kentucky player on the coach. For crying out loud, I am related to the best offensive coordinator at Kentucky for the last decade, one Liam Cohen. All right?
He's joking, but you see the resemblance, right? Like, look at that.
Long lost brothers.
Yeah.
We are long lost brothers. He saw my brother randomly in Muncie and confirmed that we are all related. It's weird. It's really weird. So I don't mean to say things like this just for the sake of an agenda.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that transition is going to be difficult. And I do think that we're talking about a 2-year proof of concept that he's trying to show. Mm-hmm. He's checked all these boxes in the offseason. That's all well and good. Getting to do these things on the field is just a little bit different in a 9-game conference schedule and another year in which, maybe bleep this, but I think Louisville should be pretty good. That's going to make for a very difficult year one for Will Stein.
Connor O'Gara just telling everybody what they want to hear at SEC Media Days here
Really
in Tampa.
picking up the spirits here. Having a great time here.
Hold on. Let me say this. Because of me, very close to Kelly Clarkson, by the way. Because of me is the best thing that a Kentucky head coach has said at a press conference since when?
Oh, Stoops pound beers in the parking lot.
Oh, yeah, before Kentucky beat Florida. Yeah, I believe in the good people of Kentucky. I'm confident they can pound some beers.
And how did that game turn out?
Kick their ass.
So maybe
Beers
this
were pounded.
is the preamble. So maybe this is the preamble. Hey, I got one more thing to throw at you. I think I told you this off air, but you need to hear this. Remember when Stoops went on KSR? Or maybe it was his call-in show, and I only saw this via KSR. And he was told the stat about how he only had the 2 wins against SEC teams that finished with winning conference records.
Yes.
Like, that was a big deal. And he, didn't believe the stat. He was like dumbfounded that could possibly be true, and it was entirely true. You know who's never beat an SEC team that finished with a winning conference record?
Eli Drinkwitz.
Yep. That's
Pretty crazy.
That man's making $11 million a year. I'm not saying. I'm just saying, if you need ammo against other programs, I'm your guy. I know I've given a lot of anti-Kentucky ammo. I will be the very first person to sing the praises of one Will Stein, and I will say, look, a millennial coach can win in the SEC. I told you it could happen. Maybe sooner than I expected.
What he is saying is we just go round and round in a circle. If it's not us, it's someone else, and we just wait your turn. Then you'll take it on.
We'll yo-yo back and forth.
Welcome to the Southeastern Conference. That's what we do.
Oh, man. It has been a lot of fun, Connor. We're just busting your chops. But please, bust his chops. All you want. Subscribe to the OG Kickoff when you do it. Connor O'Gara, thanks for joining us at ACC Media Days.
Gentlemen, appreciate it.